Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Combine, Episode 3. Today we're going to be talking MLB as the wild card race heats up a little bit with Johnny Jackson and Ron Perretti. And then we're going to spend the last recapping the Canelo Alvarez Triple G fight, the trilogy, with Dominic Moller and Isaiah Delgado. Combine Episode 3 starts right now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
Welcome to the Combine. Ron Perretti, Red Sox fan. Always fun to talk baseball with somebody whose team is actually worse than mine. Johnny Jackson, executive producer, making his Combine debut. He is contractually obligated to be here. If he's out here, I don't know who's back there. I don't want to know who's back there. Let's get into it. NL East heating up. Braves, same thing as last year. Deja vu almost, making a post-All-Star break push. 1 game behind the Mets. Ozzy Albies just broke his hand, his finger, or something like that. Sliding into second. Deja vu, or you think Mets are going to hold him off?
So the Mets have the better roster, and it's nice that this year the Braves have someone who's not like Guillermo Heredia in center field, which is wonderful. The Braves have been one of the best, if not the best teams in baseball since the All-Star break. I mean, I don't know. I find it very hard to bet against the Braves because every year they're in the NLCS with the Dodgers, but if DeGrom and Scherzer are healthy, I'm not sure how you beat that team, that Mets team.
Yeah, and I think the Braves are just not the Mets, right? The Braves last year they showed that they can win. I think this year they started off a little slow, but now they're catching on fire and they've came back. I believe it was 7 games back from the Mets, and now they're almost there. So I think that the Braves will end up taking the division by the Mets.
You think they take it? You think they do the same thing as last year, overtake it?
Yeah, I think they're overtaking. I think they're going to make a deep playoff run too.
Deep playoff run is in beating Johnny Jackson's Dodgers in the AL or the NLDS first round. Is that what I'm hearing?
Would they play in the first round?
If they're the wild card, yes. If they win
Yeah.
the East, then likely not.
So they actually the Braves and the Mets do play each other the last series of the season, a 3-game set. I honestly think it just depends who's starting for the Mets. Like if DeGrom and Scherzer are starting to those games, if they finagle their rotation to be like that, I think it's the Mets to lose. But obviously, if you're trotting out Tyler McGill and David Peterson, it's a punt. Let's be real.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think the Mets will try to have it in a way that they can start that three-headed monster in the last series of the season, just because I feel like home field this season is very important, I think, compared to other seasons, right? You don't have to play those extra games, and you don't want to face the Dodgers until as deep as possible, although I don't think anyone's going to beat the Dodgers this year, but you want to avoid them until the late round.
Okay. So NL wild card, we're keeping the National League. Obviously, the one spot in the wild card is going to be the Mets or Braves. Right now, the Braves are 11 games up on San Diego, who actually overtook the Phillies last night. San Diego's second spot, half game above Philly. Milwaukee Brewers 2 games back in the 4. What 2 teams do you have making it in that? Obviously, the loser of the NL East is going to be the one, like I said. Do you have the Brewers picking up steam and chasing and catching up to the Phillies, or do you see the Phillies kind of holding them off?
I'd say it's got to be the Padres, right? I mean, the Brewers for the last 3 years have been swinging like wet pool noodles at the plate every time, unless your name is like Rowdy Tellez for some reason. I mean, the man walks up, hits a homer 4 million feet, and then Christian Yelich hits 3 ground balls a game. I mean, it's kind of disappointing how loaded that Brewers pitching staff is, but they lose every game 1-0 or 2-1. It's pathetic, honestly, if you're a Brewers hitter right now.
I mean, they got the washed kings of Christian Yelich and Andrew McCutchen. Let's not.
Okay, so the thing about that is they start Andrew McCutchen against righties, and they start Keston Hiura versus lefties. McCutchen has like a 500 OPS against righties this year. and like a 900 against lefties. And then Keston Hiura is OPSing like almost over 900 against righties and like 300 against lefties. Craig Counsell, what are we doing? Honestly, what are we doing? If you have a guy who hits righties really well, even if it's right on right, hit him. Hit him. I'm the biggest McCutcheon guy out of probably anybody here. He should not be playing versus righties. I'm going to be honest. He can't even play defense anymore. So just hit Keston Hiura. Play him on the field. He had like a 900 OPS his rookie year. Like, just hit him. He's a good hitter. Let him swing the bat.
So you have the Brewers as the odd team out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think this is kind of like a wake-up season for them, right? The last couple times they've been to playoffs, they haven't really done much, right? They just get to first round exit. They're kind of in that middle of that they're a good team, but they're not a great team. They won't make a deep playoff run. So I think the Phillies and the Padres will hold off this season, and I think the Brewers have some kind of soul-searching to do in this offseason, see what they want to do. They got pieces that they can move. They already traded Hader early in the season, so if they want to go for the full rebuild, they can. But if they want to retool, that's also a possibility too. But like Johnny said, they have to find bats. They have to have someone that can hit 30, 40 home runs a year, kind of guarantee them, not only Rowdy Tellez.
I think it's difficult for the Brewers to kind of retool or rebuild because they're in such a bad division. Like, they're not finishing below the Pirates. They're not finishing below the Cubs. It is between them and St. Louis for the top of the division simply by process of elimination. Like, I don't see the Reds, like, they're not doing anything. It's hard to retool when you're in the worst division in baseball. Possibly all of sports. You have to burn it down to the ground and then burn it more to finish below Pittsburgh and Cincinnati at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you got Cabrian Hayes just chewing sunflower seeds while a guy's scoring. It's just, that's how bad the Pirates are. Their star guy who, just signed a big extension. He doesn't care. And how could you? If you know going into the season your team is going to lose 100 games minimum, why should he care? He's got money. Why should he care?
Yeah, it's not like they're even trying. Like the whole thing with O'Neal Cruz happened at the beginning of the season where they didn't want to call him up because they wanted to wait, and then they're not spending any money either. So it's a team that you're purposely losing, and I think it's just a bad situation. And I think it's a bad situation for the Reds and the Pirates because they're teams that have been a little successful in the past, but don't want to kind of climb on that. So they keep, having bad seasons like this. So it's a bad division, and it has been for a good while
very
now.
long time. The Pirates have been bad since they got rid of Andrew McCutcheon, and even on his tail end, the Pirates were just bad. Just bad.
Also, seeing McCutcheon in a Yankees uniform with like a shaved head was maybe the saddest thing I've seen in my life. It hurt.
So, switching the American League, wild card. AL East is going to have 3 teams. None of them Boston Red Sox, by the way. So, number 1 is Toronto. Half game back is Tampa. Game and a half back of them is Seattle. Those are the 3 teams in a playoff spot. 4 games back from Seattle is the Baltimore Orioles. Is there a chance of 4 AL East teams in the playoffs? None of them the Red Sox, by the way. I'd like to really, really drive that home. Is there a possibility that we get 4 teams from the AL East in the playoffs, or do you think Mariners are going to hold back Baltimore?
I do think the Mariners are going to hold back Baltimore as much as I do love the Baltimore Orioles. And I genuinely do. Camden Yards is maybe top 3 ballparks in the league. But it's great. Like 2 years ago, I sat like 3 rows behind home plate for like $15 a ticket. That's how awful they were. I saw when Kevin Gausman was still there. The Orioles are bad. Now they're good. Shout out Adley Rutschman. Shout out their pitching staff. I mean, they've done such a great job at developing these young guys and also calling people up. I mean, they brought up Gunnar Henderson. No, I don't think there's very many other teams. I mean, the Yankees waited until, September 4th to call up Peraza for some reason. No, the Mariners are good. The Mariners are great. They've got an elite bullpen. I love Baltimore. It's just they're a year ahead of schedule, and I think that's where they are.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought, at the beginning, I thought it was going to be, 4 AL East teams with the Red Sox, and we all kind of assumed that the Orioles were going to be like this horrible team that they were last season. But this year they have shown that they can play, and they have played competitive with a lot of the AL East. I think for them, unfortunately, their run came a little too late. If they didn't start off the way this season that they did, I think they could have made a run. But I think the Mariners, all 3 of those teams are kind of blocks right now. I don't see them slowing down, and they're playing good. Yeah,
because Adley got hurt to start the season, and it's like one of those things like, if Adley was healthy, game 1,
they could be in the 3 seed right now. They could be 2. So do you see? So right now, like I said, Toronto's 1, Tampa's 2, Seattle's 3. Do you see that shifting or changing up? Obviously, the margins are so slim. Last year, the wild card did come down to what, game 161, 162. It's baseball. It's going to happen. Do you see any shakeup as far as the order, or do you think it's somehow, some way concrete?
Didn't the Blue Jays just get swept by the Angels?
I don't pay attention to the AL East or West.
It was bad. They played terrible against the Angels. I've got to believe that the Rays take the Blue Jays over. I mean, they've got Wander back. Glasnow's coming back as a multi-inning bullpen guy. I've got to believe in the Rays, man. Also, because I really, really want to go to another playoff game. Last year, shout out Ron, I went to the playoff game where the Red Sox put up like 24 and Kike Hernandez hit like 4 extra base hits.
Yeah, man, take me back to last season, please. that was a dream season. We expected this season is what we expected last season, and we got a complete opposite. But talking about like the AL wild card, I believe the Yankees. I don't think they will, but I think they could. They're only 4.5 games up from the Blue Jays. I think 5 games up from the Rays, and they still got a series against both. I think they got 6 games left against both. So if they've been playing like they have after the All-Star break, that they could drop down to AL wildcard. I don't think they will, but it just depends how good they play in those 2 series, because those are important series at the end.
Is Judge going to hit 60?
Yeah.
He's at what, 58, 59 right now?
59. Yeah, there's no shot he's in 60.
A little disclaimer, this is recorded on Monday, so obviously baseball plays so many games. I'm sure the standings are going to shift at some point before this gets aired tomorrow, Tuesday. So everything is just going off of right now. Judge is 59, 58, I think we just said right now. I think he hits 60. I don't think it's close. I think he's going to, I'm not saying 63, but like I can see him hit 61, 62.
I think he might get there. I really do. I mean, he's just been he hit 2 last night. I mean, that's insane. It's just stupid. I mean, he's a mountain of a man, carrying the entire city of New York on his back. I mean, it's not fair.
Yeah, he's been so good this year, and I hate to say it, but he has been so good this year. I mean, like you feel like he just everything that he hits just goes out. Even like if he hits it bad, we played
you see
him.
the little and it went into the center field. It's like what are we doing?
No, we played. The Red Sox played the Yankees last week, and he hit 2, and like I thought like they were fly balls, and no, they were just surely gone. And it's just like I don't know how you can pitch to him right now.
You can't, especially if the rest of the Yankees lineup heats up. You have to just take it. There's nothing you can do about that. Baltimore Orioles, Johnny's surprise team. We're going to talk about surprising teams. We did mention them a little bit. They are a year ahead of schedule. I was not expecting them to do this. I was going to say 2 or 3 years from now I could see them not winning, but finishing a little better than what they are right now. Johnny, 2 minutes per team. Take it away.
So Grayson Rodriguez getting hurt, when that happened, I was like, Baltimore Orioles fly. They're the best team in baseball, without a doubt. Adley Rutschman legitimately does have a case to be the best catcher in baseball this year, because Real Muto has kind of had a down year, had a very disappointing year, and Will Smith for the Dodgers is like great, but I don't necessarily think he brings the complete package that Adley does. And obviously, Adley needs to learn to hit left-handed pitching. He's struggled very hard this year to hit left-handed pitching, but he commands that pitching staff in a way that not a lot of 10-year veteran catchers do, much less a rookie in his first year. So that's why I think these Orioles have been so good. I mean, you look at D.L. Hall, you look at Dean Kramer. Like, why is he good? He shouldn't be good. He was in the Dodgers organization. I thought he was terrible then. He's good now. Congrats, man. Good for you.
Yeah, and they got like it's just so awesome to watch. I've watched so many games, not only because they play the Red Sox, but just because I want to watch Orioles, and like they're having so much fun out there, which is I think that's a big reason why.
Can you imagine saying I want to watch the Orioles 2 years ago?
They're a fun team. I watched when Gunnar Henderson got called up and he hit a bomb, and it's like like they're playing with some energy. They're playing fun. Unfortunately, I wish they would make the playoffs because I would want to see them with that run. Like playoff baseball is different. Anything can happen. So I don't think they'll make it out, but now the Orioles have been real good this year and have been a real surprise. Right? I don't think anyone expected the Orioles to be where they are now this year.
Yeah, they also flipped their all-star closer, Jorge Lopez, at the all-star break, and Felix Bautista has just slid into that role flawlessly. He's been incredible. Shout out Minnesota for taking Jorge Lopez off their hands and him regressing extremely hard. It's got to suck to be a Twins fan, man.
It's bad. Like I told Austin earlier, we're not the Twins. We're the T's because we do not win. We're pathetic. We have a top top 3 shortstop in baseball. I don't think that's a stretch to call Carlos Correa that. And we're playing barely 500 ball.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Carlos Correa might be having one of the quietest 5 or 6 win seasons I've ever seen. I mean, it's maybe because he missed time in the beginning, maybe because the Twins are such a terrible run franchise and they're just horrible and so what do you think is going to happen more? The kids eating free when the Red Sox win, or the Twins actually, having a good game, like a well-played, solid 9-inning fundamental baseball game?
That doesn't happen. Our bullpen doesn't let that happen. It's
so are the kids in Boston starving?
They're starving, man. They haven't eaten in weeks.
So we're actually going to skip over Ron's exciting team and go straight into his disappointing team, which is the Boston Red Sox. I know there's a graphic because I put it up there. Please show them Ron's text to me and my text to Ron. Ron is a Red Sox fan. He's a Red Sox fan. Obviously, he's wearing the hat. He's like, hey, how long does this hat have to be? I said 50 seconds, but for your Red Sox one, 3 minutes of low lights. And what did he do? 3 minutes of low lights. Play Ron's beautiful work of art. Show the people the Red Sox season. Ron, take it away.
So, look, I wrote a list, too, because I feel the pain. This has been probably the most painful season because we actually expect something. So, I have it here. We're supposed to make the playoffs. It's not going to happen. We're supposed to compete for the division. It's not going to happen. We are last in the AL East. I never had a world of the Red Sox being last in the AL East again. Listen, and just to get a little disclaimer out, we did have injuries, but when we were healthy, we were not winning baseball games. I mean, we lost 28-5 to the Blue Jays. It's a baseball game, not a football game. We absolutely got destroyed by the Blue Jays. And honestly, if I'm being honest, we're just subpar against our division. You cannot be a good baseball team and play the way you did against your division, right? Like, the times I've seen position players play as pitchers this year has been too many times, especially against the Blue Jays. I feel like every single time we play the Blue Jays, we just lose. Our defense is awful. Like, there's in the highlights, there are plays.
Well, they're seeing the highlights right now.
Yeah,
I'm looking at them on the screen over there.
There are plays that we cannot field. We also don't have we don't have grit. I think you're about to see the play with Jalen Duran right here, and he doesn't.
He has been horrible.
Look at him. He just drops it and doesn't run back. He sees the ball clearly bouncing and doesn't run back. So this team just doesn't have. Look at him. He just doesn't have heart. This team just hasn't shown heart this year. I've been so disappointed. And there's another bomb. Oh no, this is another fly. Look, they can't catch. They just can't catch.
No, his position's catcher. He's got to get on that. Also, another disclaimer. So I umpire youth baseball games on the weekend. That little pop-up, I think, happened 4 times in the first game I had on Sunday morning. Those kids were 10. It's awful.
Listen, you're paying these players millions of dollars. Millions, right? For him, a professional player to not be able to catch a fly ball is, I'm sorry. I don't care how bright the lights are. You are getting paid millions. You've played baseball your whole life. You have to be able to make a fly ball catch. You have to be able to play good defense if you're not batting. Because, I mean, if they were batting 350, I wouldn't be saying anything about defense. But they're batting 200 while not making catches. So this team's just been a disappointment this year. And honestly, probably the worst Red Sox season since 2012 or 2011 when we had Adrian Gonzalez. And we just let it slip. But our expectations were so high this year.
So hot take. I think the Red Sox team mom should bring orange slices.
Oh, of course.
Because
Tangerines, clementines.
That's what motivates
anything.
the kids on the weekend. I think Alex Cora needs to bring orange slices to the next game. I think if he brings orange slices, they don't lose. They don't lose. I'm sorry.
Listen, and that's the thing. This at the end of this year, it's also disappointing because we don't know what's gonna happen with Devers and Bogarts, right? Like, we made no progress throughout the season. So
at least you have Mookie. No, you don't. Never mind.
No, we don't have Mookie Betts because he wanted too much money, I guess. When we're a great team with him, and then we just traded him to the Dodgers. And look at the season.
Shout out Alex Verdugo. He's hitting 220.
He's actually not playing bad. He actually has been a decent player this season, but
Yeah, but he's not Mookie Betts.
he is not Mookie Betts.
He's not even Mookie Betts' son.
No, nowhere near Mookie Betts. People were trying to compare Alex Verdugo to Mookie Betts at the beginning of the season.
Well, they do
Never
compare
again.
him. It's just Dodgers fans comparing him because they know he's significantly worse than Mookie Betts, who we got for him, Jeter Downs, and Connor Wong, who's had 6 at-bats, I think, Major League.
Yeah, Jeter Downs actually had one of the best moments of the year when
Yeah.
he hit that little blooper against the Yankees. But besides that,
It's not a high bar for the Red Sox this year.
No,
It's a
not this
very
season. Not
low
this
bar
season.
this
And
year.
we didn't even start off bad. We started off good. and then it just collapsed.
And then it all collapsed.
It just collapsed mid-June. It went downhill. I thought the All-Star break was going to give us a little boost. No boost was given. We have been terrible.
All right, really quick, like quick as possible. Do not pick the Dodgers. World Series prediction matchup off the top of your head. Go. Do not pick the Dodgers.
Why can't I pick
Do
the
not,
Dodgers?
because you picked them on bets. Do not pick the Dodgers.
Why can't I pick? They're the best team in baseball.
Switch it up. Be quirky. You already picked the Orioles for your surprise.
Okay.
Go.
Dodgers.
Oh my God. Go, Ron.
Blue Jays.
Oh, all right. We're going to commercial. I'm not contributing to that. We're going to commercial. We're going to talk about boxing next. Thank you, Johnny Jackson. Thank you, Ron Perretti. First time talking baseball in the Combine. Boxing next. Let's go.
HTF Hot Takes. I'm Johnny Jackson. We've got Emily Aaron to my right and Maluka Costa to my left.
Hello and welcome to our segment of Hot Ones. I'm here with Noah Kemper and Grant
Wheeler.
Yep, I knew that. Grant Wheeler.
Listen, I'm a Bulls fan, but I just can't ever argue against LeBron. I watched him my whole life.
I've been going back and forth with this debate for a long time. It's got to be Michael Jordan.
Whatever she wanted. I would wake up in a maid costume for Doja Cat.
Brutal.
Jeffrey Laux, no question.
Richie, I would give it to Richie.
It is not Richie. It is not Richie.
No, it's Jeff.
Richie's pronouns are he, they, because he cannot be him.
What?
Oh, where's that?
I'm gonna have to also agree and say Jeff. He always is spiffy.
It might be Cameron. Cameron's had some good fits.
Out of the women, Norelli always dresses really, really cute.
Whoa. That went so awful.
It's basketball.
College football, I think, is the best sport to watch.
If you don't like soccer, it's because you suck at it.
I think college football is the best.
Thanks for watching.
So this Saturday night was the Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G, the trilogy. They drew the first fight. Canelo won the second. That was back in 2017, 2018. Joined by Dominic Moller and Isaiah Delgado. We're going to talk about the trilogy. Canelo Alvarez, unanimous decision. It was close on the judges' scorecard, but it wasn't close if you watched it. I'm not a boxing fan. It was kind of boring. I respect the technical aspect of boxing. If I'm going to watch for 36 minutes, I want somebody to be at least shaken, at least dazed. I don't know. I hate being one of those people that is like that, but for boxing only. I don't watch boxing. I watched Canelo's last fight against Bivol, and then that's the only boxing match I've seen in the past decade. So you guys are going to carry this segment.
Poor choices.
Like I said, I watched it, but I cannot contribute that much. So
You could start.
I mean, hey, there's not a lot to say about the fight. I think Canelo absolutely dominated the fight. Triple G looked like the grandpa from Courage the Cowardly Dog. He was slow. He was out of shape. And he picked it up towards the end of the fight, but like he's already so down on the scorecards. It was a very boring fight in the beginning. I think I yawned 30 times throughout. Canelo just, when you get to that high level of boxing, a lot of the fights are boring. You look at Floyd Mayweather's fights, most of them, he is just continuously trying to win on points. And I think that's what Canelo was really trying to go at. He tried to knock him out in the first round and just couldn't find a chink in Triple G's armor, so he wanted to win off points. Game plan set, and he won. So,
all right, listen, Mexico's up. Come rep it.
Hey.
Respect. Mexico's back. All right, we're winning. But the issue here is nobody gives Canelo credit when he wins, nor do they give him credit when he loses. Like everybody wanted to say that he was Triple G's son. Now he made Triple G look like an old man father out there. Obviously, Father Time's catching up to him, but like. Canelo and Triple G, two high-level dudes, both going to wind up in the Hall of Fame for boxing. Canelo's back. That's really what it is. Like, he looked decent, not great, but, look at the fact that Sugar Shane Mosley, when Canelo beat him, he was, washed, and he was, that stepping stone. I'm afraid that's what's going to wind up happening with Triple G now. Like, he's not ready to retire, but you can see that when somebody moves up in weight to go against Canelo, they just can't handle it.
100%.
the next fight for Canelo is obviously the rematch with Bivol to try and get the title back. I think that's not even a question. I don't know what Triple G's next fight is. He's 40 years old. Retirement, at that age,
okay,
boxing, you can obviously fight for a long time. Isaiah's shaking his head. You're not even getting him on camera. He looks very frustrated right now.
It is frustrating because everybody wants to talk about how great Mayweather was and, he's so good, he's so good. Yes, Mayweather was amazing, great defensive fighter, all the things. But I think the way that you saw Triple G looking at age 40 right now, his style was to get hit. He was a brawler. He was all the exciting fights in his youth. But, like, his style didn't last the same way that Pacquiao's didn't last. And nobody, like, discredited Mayweather over the fact that when he fought Pacquiao, like, his style just held up to the test of time better. So, like, Canelo fighting Triple G now is basically the same thing Mayweather did, cherry-picking the ages of all of his opponents the whole time. Not to take away from the fact that they were champions, but, like, give a little bit of credit to the fact that, like, Mayweather got it, so Canelo should too.
I'm giving credit to Canelo.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I was about to say, Canelo is looking way more explosive. He's looking like a way better boxer overall. He definitely learned from that Bivol fight. I think the big thing with the Bivol fight was that he was getting tired. He was getting really worn out, and this ended up happening to where, he loses the fight. But I think in the second fight, I think Canelo wins by a large margin and very convincingly. But, like we said with Triple G, he's up there, man. We always lose the battle to time, as, it's tough to see him going like that. Much like Isaiah said, he's a brawler. So not being able to do that these fights, it just shows how non-technical he really is as a boxer. He's more of a big shot kind of guy. And against Canelo, that's just not going to win a fight. You have to beat Canelo technically. And that's what Floyd Mayweather did and Bivol did in his 2 losses of his career.
Yeah, Canelo's not going to lose to a brawler. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah.
Granted, it was close, but, like, Canelo's losses, you could say that he lost the first fight to Triple G, and I wouldn't really, like, get too upset. Second fight, I'd say draw. This fight, obviously, Canelo dominated, but Erislandy Lara back in the day, I thought it was going to be an exciting fight, but he came out with that Cuban boxing style, and it was just points, points, points. When you fight Canelo going for points, it's your best shot, because he's not going to get knocked down. He's got a real solid chin, like, Mexican crocodile skin is pretty much what we refer to it as. Like, he's not going to get busted up, but boxers have a shot. That's the only way you're going to take out the pound-for-pound king, and Bivol showed that.
I don't have anything to attribute to that. I've only seen Canelo fight against Bivol. I'm a much bigger MMA UFC guy. Like I said, I hate being the guy who's like stand and bang, like just go at him. But like I respect boxing way too much to discredit it or slander.
Yeah,
I can't do that.
Canelo, like you said, Canelo's at that point where he's 32. He's kind of in his prime.
Right.
In boxing standards, he's really in his prime. So really giving him discredit and saying that he's not this type of great boxer that he really is blasphemy. I mean, he is the guy that is going to continue to get better. And I think, like I said before, Bivol is really going to be that guy that he shows everybody, all right, he's learned, he's taken a step back to really analyze his game plan, and now he's just really going to excel. I don't really see who is going to be Canelo's competition in the future once he beats Bivol.
Better be. There's power in that.
Yeah, there's
a
little bit, but
Canelo struggled with the weight jump when he moved up to 175 last time. I really think that the power could come into play when he goes against somebody like Beterbiev.
Yeah, and that's tough. Canelo's just such a technical boxer. I think he's able to eliminate power so well that he's just going to be able to slip through that. Yeah. I mean, but only time will tell. Let's see how Bivol's got to be the first step, and we're only going to see how he does with Bivol.
Bivol obviously beat him, but prior to him agreeing to that fight, there was talks about him and Spence potentially meeting at a catch weight.
Yeah.
Do you think that Spence could challenge him if he put on the weight? Because Canelo losing, he struggled when he moved up in weight, but could he go back down at this age?
I mean, I like Canelo at the weight he is now. Him switching around with weights is only just going to be a bigger detriment to him.
Yep. He's got a long career coming ahead, and he's going to keep killing him.
So that is our recap of the fight on Saturday. I'm not gonna say I didn't do anything, but
but you didn't.
I kind of didn't do anything. Like I said, I watched the fight. I'm not that big into boxing. Thank you, Dominic and Isaiah, for kind of shouldering the load here. Combine episode 3 in the books. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Ron. Like I said, thank you, Isaiah and Dominic. Next week we're gonna be talking about NFL. That's all I have planned for next week. So get ready, buckle up. Thank you guys all for watching. See ya.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't